Hello everyone, I'm back with another video for you today, and I've got a monster deck for you this time. I have been having a ton of fun with monsters. I've been trying out Fruits of Yizgith and other fun things, but not really finding too much success. However, this deck does seem very promising. I think it does rely quite a bit on surprise factor value. If the opponent knows what you're playing exactly, then their win condition is quite obvious, and that is they need to win round one. This deck really needs to win round one. If it doesn't, you pretty much lose most of the time, I think, because the finisher of the deck is centered around Plague Maiden, Caranthir on Plague Maiden, and Yennefer, and that is a combo that fills up your board pretty much instantly, along with using your leader to proc the Plague Maidens. So that means if you don't win round one and you go to round three, you can't really use this combo very well. And if you get pushed in round two, the only thing you could play in that round is that combo or all your other stuff. So really, the game plan for this deck is super set in stone, and if you don't pull that off, you won't win games with this, which makes it a bit, tricky if the opponent pushes very, very hard in round one. On the bright side, it is monsters. They are one of the best factions for pushing early on in the game. You have, Lava, this deck also running Neckers and other Thrive units, alongside Nekkarat and the Beast for a bit of engine value, and of course all the big boys to proc the Thrives. So yeah, you do have a lot of push potential. You engine up, you thrive up, and you try to push that round one. In round two, you slam down Caranthir, Plague Maid, and Yennefer, which you can guarantee most of the time with Decree and Matter. If not, then that's really unfortunate. Obviously, Matter pulls Maiden, and then Yen, and then probably roll Decree, so you're pretty damn likely to find this combo. The one part that you might be missing is the Caranthir, which could happen if you're unlucky. But yeah, overall, that combo in round two is going to come down 3-card combo. Bam, you have so many points. The opponent's pretty much lost the game at that point, being, having to play into that and gain, 60 points or whatever in a few cards. It's almost impossible for most decks to do, and they'll just kind of lose at that point because you have a lot of Thrive and, big units to finish the game out after you're a card or two up on the opponent, and they've spent a lot of their good stuff. So really, really powerful when it works. Obviously, you do need to win round one, so if you draw badly, if you get unlucky and don't find combo pieces, that's another way to lose. But definitely if you get blue coin and you draw decently, you're in a great spot to beat a lot of the top decks at the moment. This might even be the best deck for monsters. Might be better than Kikimor. Maybe not. I think both have the same downside of struggling if they don't win round one. This so even more, but this deck is probably more powerful when you do win round one, I would say, and you do draw kind of perfectly. But either way, let's jump into some games and show off that combo. Okay, we're going to be up against Mystic Echo. See how that goes. Hopefully we draw decently. I did forget to say that the third leader target in this deck is Coldwell. It might not seem too good, but it does get you some decent value since he's such a low provision card. Alright, we could get rid of Ozrael if we, think we might have trouble playing him this round. I think I'll get rid of, let's get rid of Ozrael. We just need to win round one and then we're in a great spot. So really, as many tools as possible to do that, and also, of course, the combo for later on. We've drawn quite a lot of those cards, which is good. I think Noonwraith can go. It's not helping us push round one too much. Alright. So, of course, we can go Lava first. We want to do that on the front row. And he'll probably push quite hard this round. We do have a lot of good cards, though. A lot of bronze engines, which will make him feel bad for playing into our stuff. And the Beast is really good with Caretaker, potentially. Let's go with Nekkarat here. You want to do that before the Bruxa, because Bruxa doesn't trigger him. I'm going to start the bleeding onto the Hawker guy. Try to kill that off slowly. Okay, there's a second one, so he's going to gain quite a bit of carry over here, but that's alright. Yeah, we can do some big bleeding action onto these guys, and eventually they'll die off, most likely. And we're going to get a lot of Thrive onto the board, which will allow us to push this around very, very hard, very long. Okay. Another Bruxa. We'll start bleeding the Neophyte here, I suppose. No reason not to, really. And then we've got Beast coming up next, which will be really powerful if he can't deal with it. He would need 3 poisons probably to do anything about it, because we have Caretaker to deny 1. And if we're winning the round, we do have the combo in hand currently. I need to play my Matter this round though, in order to get that. So maybe we'll consider her next, but probably the Beast will be played, I would imagine. We do want to play that this round rather than next, because it will guarantee Decree, guarantee Caranthea, and then we can guarantee the combo. And if we, don't have all 3 of those cards in hand, then the combo is a bit weaker. You might not be able to get all of it, working. Okay, he's going to play 1 poison here. That's really good for me. I think that means I'm going to play Beast now, and then Matter if he plays on. Presuming he does. Doesn't quite get me ahead, so actually, it does. What am I saying? Because of the bleeding on his side of the board. So he's kind of forced to play another card here, or lose on even. Which would be very good for us. Especially if we draw the combo. If we draw the Caranthea or roll Decree at this point, game will be extremely over if he passes. And if he doesn't, we're going to guarantee that. So, really good spot for us. Against Mystic Echo, you probably have a pretty good matchup because they don't really have a way to control all of these Thrive units very effectively. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Monsters kind of functions as an engine deck, but it has some of the biggest kind of short round value that any faction has, so works in quite an interesting way, I think. Okay. So let's bleed this Hawker Smuggler. Now I do want to play the Matter here. I'm a bit worried he might pass if I just play the Caretaker, but the Caretaker value is pretty huge. And I'm worried I might not win the round if I don't play the Caretaker. So let's do it. I think it's worth it because we're going to be winning on even if he passes here. And that should be a game win either way, right? Whether we have the combo or not, the full combo. And to be honest, the Plague Maiden Yen on its own is really powerful, so that should be enough. We can use the excess leader charge on Egon to stop him from killing it with damage. And we do lose our Caretaker, so we don't have a defender answer anymore, but I don't think that'll matter too much. So we'll see what he does here. He probably should pass, but he might want to get the poison value on this little lava. We know he has a poison in hand if he went for this kind of play, most likely. It's pretty cool. We're keeping up with the 14 strength Percival in this round. So much engine value from monsters. This deck kind of works both on red and blue. It's probably better on blue because you can force the opponent's pass more easily, whereas on red they're really going to fight you for it, but on red you can also threaten to win on even, so that's not too shabby. Okay, that's how he's getting his 3rd poison. He's actually going to put it on the Beast still, so that means he's got more poison than we may have initially assumed. Let's go for that Matter play now then, to guarantee my combo and thrive on curve. And presumably he'll go for a poison, we can go Egon, and then we're running out of options at that point, but hopefully it's enough for us to win the round. Potentially he won't be able to kill Egon.
The wilds shall reclaim.
We will see. And maybe we can even commit parts of our hand here to the push. It's definitely possible. Okay, Egon time I think is a bit of a no-brainer, and I will cleanse that poison in case he has another one in hand. Now we're very far ahead, so he kind of has to have damage to really catch up here. Might be hard. Oh, I played it on back row. That was a big mistake, actually, because it allowed Bowman to kill it for free, basically. Alright, well, I think I'm going to commit Goliath now to really put the nail in the coffin in this round. Or maybe Osrel, one or other of those. Goliath's, I suppose, a little bit less of a commitment. Osrel's a bit scarier and might help me win a bit more, so I guess I'll go for Osrel. But that was a bit of a mistake there with the... I maybe could have eaten the Egon actually with leader as well. That was an option. So you had ways there to kind of avoid the avoid that happening. But should be okay right now. We got rid of the Hawkers, so no more carryover coming into the hand. Probably has a couple of pretty big cards at this point. And we are going to get the pass. So pretty hard fought. Obviously red coin we have less ability to push round 1 because of that 10-point kind of disparity between the two coins. Obviously get 5 more if you're on blue, so that's what it is. We did draw the Caranthea though, so I mean this is just an easy peasy game. I think we can keep this hand, it's perfectly fine, perfectly good to win with at this point. And you always want to go Caranthea on front with this combo. Always, always. Because the Yen needs to go on the ranged row and the second Plague Maiden needs to go there as well, otherwise you're going to row stack too much. Each of these Plague Maidens basically spawns 8 units. The Caranthea is obviously an extra one, so that fills your row up. And you don't want this ranged row to be full for that Yen. So very important to keep that in mind. You will definitely lose games if you mess that one up. But here we're just going to completely blow out the opponent, it looks like. We not only won on even, but we have one of the scariest round 2s known to man. Probably the scariest. Very exciting. And it looks like he's not even starting with waters, so that's really not good for him as well. Okay, he had a Hawk. He could have moved my Plague Maiden. That actually would have shut down the combo quite significantly. But potentially it was correct for me to actually immediately eat both the Plague Maidens so that the Hawk play wasn't available to him. Although he could have then Hawked and moved something to stop my Yen play. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. I think at the end of the day, yeah, there's not really many ways you're going to disrupt this combo here. So many points. And as you can see, we've completely stacked our rows, so if you're forced to do this combo in a different round other than a round 2 push, then it could definitely be a tricky situation for you. But we can go into round 3. We've got a little bit of leader value left, and I don't think he can even make these points, honestly, with his leader and 3 cards. I think that's going to be quite a challenge. He's 50. Yeah, that's not going to be it from the opponent. So we'll take a relatively clean round, game 1 victory. Managed to pull off the combo. It is a little bit disruptible, so got to keep that in mind. And maybe there was a line of play I could have taken there to, better play around movement, but I'm not sure. Either way, that was pretty nice. Let's jump into another one and see if we can win again. Okay, and now up against some Syndicate Congregate, which is often going to be a crime-focused deck. This deck's kind of popular, although I don't really see why. It's just kind of a weaker version of Hidden Cache. I guess people taking it a bit easy with the pro ladder games. Okay, 1 Noon Wraith, let's get rid of that. Warrior's not too bad here, potentially. I think Plumard and the Noon Wraith are both not great, so let's get rid of that. And maybe 1 set of Neckers. I don't think we need 2, since we also have Lava. And by playing a second set, we're playing into potentially having those guys die. But let's start with them here. Doesn't have, damage on the board just yet. So these should be safe for the moment unless he goes with an early Uold. But we have Adder to answer, so wouldn't be too bad.
Do not make me beg.
And I think we can go Lava next. We really just want to get our engines up and ready to push for this round 1. Should be able to win it fairly easily since we have the blue coin. And a pretty good hand for pushing. Now I don't have all of my combo pieces. I'm going to need to maybe draw into some of that, or we can roll Decree Matter for the Yen and hope for Caranthea. So that might be a little bit awkward for me. The Hound is also a bit of a pain because I don't have an immediate way to deal with that, but let's just get another engine online of our own. And I'll start trying to hit the Hound down and potentially take away that dominance that the opponent's going to have shortly. So that we can damage it with Adder, Warrior, etc. So maybe E-Gun is coming next, I think. Might have been better to actually play that E-Gun the turn prior, but should be fine as well. We can go E-Gun, we can then play Warrior probably onto hand. Knock that armor off. And then we can also Adder if he goes for some shenanigans here. He's going to try to kill my E-Gun. I don't have a Consume to punish that, but it does allow me to get my Warrior down, so that's quite nice. We'll also keep bleeding the Hound in this situation. I think with this many engines on the board, we shouldn't have any trouble taking the round. The question is, do we want to play Decree into Matter? I think probably not in this particular situation. It's probably a higher chance for us to find, you know, all we need is a Yen or a Caranthir, since we can pull the other one with Decree. So it's pretty likely we'll find one of those cards with the mulligans here in the draws. Okay, let's go with the Plumard now, get that Vampire proc, and we can, you know, keep knocking down these bigger units for the dominance effect. Once they're at 5, then we're in good shape for the adder. And also these guys might get transformed if we put bleeding on them from Horse and Senior. Alright, so we're going to manage to take the round, that's nice. So again, just going to pull off this really effective push in round 2 and have a bunch of power still remaining for round 3. And for most decks it's back-breaking if you get this combo off. And we do find it, there's a Caranthir. We'll still get rid of Noonwraith because it's not super good. Just kind of one of your mulligan targets in this deck and a lot of others. Okay, we can play Caranthir, we can play the second Plague Maiden, and then we can go crazy with the Yen. Now we've got to be a bit careful of Philippa, so I think I'll actually, in this situation, I think I will actually eat my Plague Maiden immediately. Also worth noting that you don't get a full row here, or rather you don't get all of the rats spawned with the Plague Maiden. You do miss out on one, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. And yeah, we can go for the second one. Here I don't think we need to eat it, just in case there's some kind of, I don't know, there could be a weird play coming that we can counter, but it shouldn't be possible for him to get a Philippa on this. He could lock it, I suppose, but we have Caretaker, so I'm not too worried about that. I suppose that might make life quite awkward in terms of getting Yen value, but we can always maybe eat another unit to get the Yen anyway. Let's see. I think this should be fine. If your leader eats a unit when the row is full, it won't spawn the Ekimara, so you can use it to free up a board spot if you absolutely have to. Worth noting. He's trying to swarm as much as possible right now, and I assume he'll maybe kill a rat as well to do that. He really wants to, you know, stop us just killing him with this combo, but it's coming and it's going to be a lot of points. I'm not sure there's much you can do sometimes against this. Let's go for that Yen then. Ranged, of course. Boost all the units. Oh, okay, now he needs to make quite a lot of points all of a sudden. I think it will be pretty difficult. He does have a few engines on the board, so he's got that going for him. But it's definitely going to cost them a lot to make that 27 point difference. The opponent did, you know, do well to swarm the board quite a bit. I'm going to take my pass now before he really ramps up with the engines. He did well to swarm the board a little bit, kill one of my rats. Makes the Yen a bit worse than it was, for example, last game. But still, it's a lot of points to deal with. It really is. We'll see how he's making the 30 odd points. Probably not going to do it in a card, maybe 2. So we're definitely going to be a card up here, I imagine. Maybe even 2 cards up. I think, yeah, it's still quite hard to make 19. Obviously he has a stronger leader than me at this point, but we also get some good stuff from him, presumably, to make that point difference up. We've already seen a lot of provisions in Portal, Novigradian Justice, Skewertooth, Triss, and I mean, all I really commit was an 8, a 12, and, you know, another 12 and some of my leader. So he probably actually spent more provisions in this round than I did, which is quite funny. And we'll see if he can do it. I guess that's not quite enough. So we're going to be 2 cards up. That's pretty good for us, obviously. Not bad at all. And we got some really good stuff from the opponent as well. And honestly, the result might be even better against sort of a cash syndicate here. They have a bit more ability to push round 1 though, so yeah. But against cash, I don't know that they have the tools to swarm the board quite as much as this. You could have even gone with Congregates earlier in the round to deny the swarm. So I guess he wanted to get the crime engines online before doing that. Let's get rid of Plumard, that's not too good, and Noonwraith as well. My hand is pretty ideal. We would like that Coldwell, but we can maybe get it with the Matter here. I would quite like to have my dominance up, but I think it's more worth it to kind of prioritize the thriving here, because it's worth a lot. If we have dominance, we can then deal with the Whoreson, you know, units that are spawned, which are coming down here, I suppose. Maybe just, okay, excommunication. Into maybe Savola, or we'll see. Oh, bloody good fun. Okay, that's pretty bad. Gonna spend all the money that he had built up. Lose out on that. Looks like there's not going to be the crime stuff going on here. So I'll just take the Drowner, take the Bruxa, Thrive up, and take the win, I think. 2 cards, probably too much. This Congregate Leader's, you know, it's worth some points, but it's not quite as strong as some other leaders. Okay, so he did actually have the Whoreson Senior, but I don't really think I care. I'm just gonna play the Bleeding. I'm gonna allow him to get the points here. It shouldn't really matter too much. If I do go with a tall unit, it'll probably get knocked down anyway from the damage, and it might even play into his, you know, bloody good fun and other cards like that. He's gonna remove a lot of my stuff here, but such is the way of things. We could go for that Osrel just to throw it down, but I think it will get smacked, so I think I'm gonna go with Matter now. The Beast will be good, but I think I'll play it after he passes, probably. Not quite as good as Coldwell, for sure. It's a little bit sad, but... Okay, looks like we're probably going to find some leader value anyway on this poison here. Let's just... maybe let's Caretaker first, I think. There's a possibility they'll have another poison or 2 here. Could be 2 more poisons, in which case our leader can deny that value. Maybe not, though. Just going to be Tavern Brawl. I probably should have played around Tavern Brawl, but... Oh well, that's not the end of the world. So yeah, I think we can just kind of chill. Yeah, I guess we can play the Beast. We lose a lot of points if he kills it though, which is kind of what I'm worried about, but yeah, maybe just playing Adder here to kill this Lackey. I think that's probably worth it. And we can play the Beast after he's actually passed. Not going to play into any damage, like Wheel of Fortune, stuff like that. But really, I think we just have a bit too many points here to be worried. Gord is pretty good. Gord is pretty good for sure, but I think we got him. It's actually reasonably close. I think the Crimes have a pretty decent matchup here, funnily enough. Maybe if his round 3 was a little bit stronger, but he did use pretty much all of his decks, so can't really be expecting too much more there. And I missed out on my Coldwell, which would have given me a lot more leader value. But, you know, we take that 10 points, so yeah, you can say that's close, but it's not really that close. Definitely a powerful bleed with this deck. Very fun to play. Probably not the strongest deck ever, but when it works, it's very cool, very fun, and feels very unfair. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good time in quarantine, or hopefully you're not. But either way, stay safe, have a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.